Yikes. I have too small of a desk and too many pairs of glasses. All right. So I think I have everything I need to get started here. I will apologize in advance if there are sounds of landscaping, in particular lawnmowers and leaf blowers. So the guys are scheduled to appear anytime now this morning to do something like that, both outside this window as well as in the backyard. But they're only here for about 15 minutes. So, anyway, welcome. This is the first reset we've done in a long time since I kind of rebranded this community. And I want to take you through it, especially if you're new here to the community. But if you're not new, then this will be a refresher for you. So, a little bit about the 10-minute reset. I like to call it the Stop the Spiral reset. It's been known by many names over the past many months, but I think that's really where I'm going to settle. Because when we have an anxiety spiral, and it doesn't matter where that occurs, it could occur at the office, it could occur, as in my case, in the OR at one point. It can happen anywhere. You're meeting with a client, you know when it happens to you. This 10-minute reset is a direct route to activating your vagus nerve. Now, the vagus nerve is one of the 12 cranial nerves that comes directly off the brain. In this case, it comes off the brain stem, and it will immediately carry these messages of safety back up to the brain. And the safety messages are coded in obviously electrical impulses, and they get the attention of your parasympathetic nervous system. Now, if you don't know, your central nervous system is the nervous system that we usually refer to. You have a peripheral nervous system as well, with sensory organs and little organelles that denote pressure and heat and cold and pain, etc. We're not talking about that. We're talking about your central nervous system, the brain and spinal cord that keep everything, and that includes the cranial nerves. They keep everything running automatically. And so there's a division of your central nervous system called the parasympathetic and sympathetic. So it's large, collectively, they are known as your autonomic nervous system. And autonomic means exactly what it sounds like. It's the automatic functioning. It takes over your breathing when you're sleeping. It makes sure that you're breathing when you're awake. It regulates your digestion and your blood pressure and your electrolyte levels and your pancreas so it can put out some insulin after you eat a carbohydrate rich meal. It has many, many functions. But today I want to just focus on two. The two divisions of your autonomic nervous system are called sympathetic and parasympathetic. The sympathetic is what speeds everything up. It's kind of like the accelerator of your nervous system. And that is in individuals like us who've had our share of anxiety and who've had some panic episodes in the past. The sympathetic division is like the accelerator. And in our case, it's like the pedal to the metal. The accelerator is always stuck on high. It is pressed all the way down. And so even the most minor threats can feel like a Bengal tiger is stalking you in the jungle. Pardon me. And that's no good because if someone cuts you off in traffic, you don't want to get out and road rage and beat somebody up, break their window. That's dangerous stuff. And when your spouse or your partner makes a little cutting remark or something, you don't have to punch a wall. You don't have to come back with another snide comment. I said another snide comment. You don't have to shut down. You can take the time and just process what they said. Now, for a lot of us with overactive and hypervigilant nervous systems, we're always on alert. We're always like scanning everywhere for the next threat. And we have been conditioned to be that way over the decades. But you've probably heard of the term neuroplasticity. It means that your brain can change. It's plastic, it's changeable. And you can relearn how to respond to both major and minor threats, mostly minor threats, because we still want to rely on our sympathetic nervous system to, break our fall. Like the other day, after I had surgery on my left uh, MC joint here, metacarpo carpal joint, to alleviate some arthritis pain. I had a post-op splint on, not this one, but a post-op splint that went all the way out to the edge of the thumb, and I fell forward, and I got overbalanced, and my autonomic nervous system automatically took over and put my hands out, like this, and I went down into the dirt, kinda like this. Now, 4 months ago, I had this one operated on. I don't know if you can see the scar or not. There's my battle scar right there. Yep, mhm, tough guy. Alright, so I went ahead and tried to break my fall, and even though I tried to roll at the same time, my autonomic nervous system protects me at all times, and unfortunately, that thumb went down into the dirt, and I re-injured the wrist joint down here at the radial tuberosity. Is that what it's called? The radial tuberosity? Eminence? I forget now. Anyway, um, and therefore, it was like all done automatically. We want that to protect us. We want our autonomic nervous system to keep protecting us from major threats and yeah, from those major threats. But the minor threats, we don't need to respond so violently. I'll use that in a not really meaning, you're beating someone to death, but it's outsized. It's an outsized response to a minor threat. So that's what this reset helps us to do. It sends safety messages up through the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve goes from your brainstem all the way down into your gut. And so specifically, what we're going to do today is when we focus on the vocalization, which is basically humming, then that activates the vagus nerve, and that sends messages of safety up to the brain. All right, so I can get long-winded, but that's the science behind the 10-minute stop the spiral reset. My mother's calling. I have to call her back. She's in a care home, and she doesn't understand when I don't answer the phone, but we're kind of mid process here, mid reset. Okay. So, as I was saying, that's the science behind the reset. And I use it every day. I often advise the clients that I coach to use it twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. And by doing that, your brainstem gets used to these messages of safety coming up, and it's starting to relearn that it doesn't have to be on stuck on high all the time. And that's what we want. We don't want to burn out our adrenal glands and have it, release all these stress hormones and everything. We don't need that. We only need it in the moment when it's a major threat, a lions and tigers and bears, oh my type of threat. Not, honey, can you please pick up your socks again for the sixth time? Not that kind of threat. Okay. That's just an annoyance. But this reset will help you separate the two. Okay. With that, I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate to you and conduct the reset. We won't do a full 10 minutes, but we'll do about 2 minutes of the box breathing, and then we'll do about 10 minutes. I'm looking for my timer here. And then we'll do about 2 minutes for the for the vocalization, and that will give you an opportunity to do this in real time, but not take the entire hour. Okay, so let me dial it down here. We're going to do this for, we'll do it for 6 minutes. Okay, 3 minutes apiece. All right. So, boxed breathing, or box breathing, as it's known as, is a type of breathing that does the same thing. It also gets the attention of your central nervous system and says, hey, we're not breathing the same anymore. What's going on? That's what we want. We want it to get the attention of our central nervous system. And the fact that we are going to breathe in a way that is not normal, um, it gets the attention of the central nervous system and it begins to slow things down. And then when we get to the humming or the vocalization aspect of the reset, that reinforces it directly to the brainstem. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start my timer here. Come on. There we go. All right. So box breathing. We're going to inhale. We'll start with 3 seconds. We're going to inhale over 3 seconds, hold that breath in for 3 seconds, and then we're going to exhale for 3 seconds, hold that empty lung space for 3 seconds, and that's one cycle. And we keep going and doing that cycle until the 3 minutes are up. All right. So it goes like this. I'm going to count it out and then you'll get the hang of it. It's not hard at all. In. I would normally say in 2, 3, but I can't, okay, you can let that breath out, sorry. I can't actually talk and inhale at the same time. So, it's like I'll talk you through the first set, okay? All right, the first cycle. In, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, and that's one cycle. So, without me having to repeat that, I don't think you need that. Then let's do that together for the next, looks like almost 2 minutes now. Okay. All right. So in for 3, hold for 3, out 2, 3, and hold 2, 3. In, hold, out, hold. Again, in, hold, out, hold. Now we're gonna ratchet it up to 4. All right, so we're gonna hold each component of this at 4 seconds. So in, hold, out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In, hold, out, hold. Now you'll notice that I am breathing in as you continue. In, 2, 3, 4. I breathe in through my nose, hold it, and exhale through the mouth. Because by the time you've held a normal breath for about 4 seconds, you are ready to inhale again, but we're not ready to do that again. So, or rather, you're ready to exhale. And so, exhaling the full measure of what we've inhaled, that tidal volume that we inhale, we want to exhale that as rapidly as possible, but well, not rapidly as possible, as fully as possible within the 4 second exhale, and then hold that empty space for 4. So let's try it again at 4. Hold, out, hold, in, hold, out, hold. Okay. That is how we conduct the box breathing portion, the breath work portion of the reset. Now, normally, when you're doing this on your own, I would tell you to do this for 5 minutes. So as many of the 3 and 4-second, hold or cycles as you can. I think we should always start with 3 and then, gradually go into the 4 count. And then as your timer goes off, you'll switch to the vocalization portion to reinforce what we just sent to the brainstem. All right? So I'm gonna turn this off because I'm long-winded as usual. All right. So now the humming or the vocalization part is like this. You can either say "om" or just use the M sound. Mm. Either one works. They both have an elongated M sound, and that's what we're after. I like the "om" just simply because it seems to come more naturally to me than just the M. But, there's no special meaning behind it, there's no spiritual magic that's going on. It's just, a sound, the long O sound leads right into an M, and sometimes I'll just put my hand right here, and I will feel how it resonates within my chest, within my head, and I just imagine, all of that safety electricity, that electrical messages of safety being transmitted up to the brainstem. So that's just me. Okay, so let's do this. All right. Om. 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 Okay. That is one practice session of the 10-minute stop the spiral reset. So why do I call it the stop the spiral reset? Pardon me. Again. We call it that because when a wave of anxiety washes over you, I always feel like it's a wave. It's very similar to grief when you lose someone close to you. At first, the waves are big, they're huge, and they overpower you. They take you down in an instant. Anxiety waves are that way too, and that's why we evolve so quickly into a panic response. But we don't want to do that. We want to stop that anxiety wave from spiraling into a panic episode. So, by initiating, whenever you feel like you're having an anxiety wave washing over you, begin this practice immediately. Start with 3, and after about 3 cycles, go into the 4 count box breathing, and do that until you feel um, that wave cresting. Just keep doing it until you feel it waning and, going back out to sea, so to speak. By doing the boxed breathing, as soon as an anxiety wave is washing over you, you immediately start counteracting that part of your sympathetic nervous system that is driving it. And by doing the boxed breathing, you are sending a message directly to the sympathetic nervous system and saying, "Talk to the hand, okay? Talk to the hand because this is not right. Listen to what I'm doing." It has no choice but to listen. And so, because it is tuned into what's going on in your body, you're now in control. You are an influencer, we'll say, over your nervous system's reaction. So, whatever it is that's bringing on your anxiety wave, engage in the boxed breathing for at least 3 to 5 minutes. and then immediately go into the vocalization, the Om or the M chant, as I like to call it, for another 3 to 5 minutes. That is everything you need to know about preventing panic episodes. Now, I want to give you a word of caution here. And that word of caution is that you didn't get to this point in your life, this relationship you have with an oversensitive and hypervigilant nervous system, that didn't happen overnight. It took decades of reinforcing all of that habitual reactivity to result in these panic episodes that seem to come on so quickly. So, the first time you engage in this practice, even the first week, you may not feel this huge relief in your anxiety level. Excuse me. But it's like meditating or trying to learn a song on the piano or the guitar or the drums or whatever. It's never perfect the first time. And it's only through practice that it starts to become second nature to us. But we have to begin somewhere. You have to pick out that melody on the guitar somewhere. You have to, you know, learn how to operate your sewing machine one stitch at a time. And you have to learn to send these safety messages one practice session at a time. Now, for those of you who are in the community, I have a class called the 4-day shoulder drop. Because we humans tend to carry a lot of muscular stored tension in our trapezius. This is the big muscle. It's kind of diamond shaped if you look at the back. Well, not in me, you'll just see fat. But you've seen it on diagrams before. So it's like muscle, it's this big muscle that goes up the back of your neck and attaches to your skull. It comes over your shoulder and inserts on your humerus, and it also goes down and inserts on your vertebral column. Now, that muscle is one of the biggest muscles we have, and it is the prime area for storing unresolved tension. That's why a neck massage by somebody feels so good. When I go get my hair cut, which I need to do, um, at the end, um, my operator always puts this hot washcloth, okay, on my neck and then does just a slight little neck massage. That is the best part of the whole experience because you're putting your head this way and that way, and they're like taking your head and doing it, tweaking it all over the place. And by the end, you're ready for that washcloth and that little mini massage. That's why it feels so good because we store tension there. And by having it massaged is one way to kind of release that muscle tension that's built up in the muscle fibers. That's not what we're after here. What we're after here is with the 4-day shoulder drop is over a series of 4 days. And you can do this on the 7-day free trial for the community, the Panic Prevention Skool community. You can go through that course in 4 days. It gives you 4 practice sessions to follow. And at the end of those 4 days, you note what you felt at the end of the 4 days. Are your anxiety waves decreasing at all? Maybe your shoulders are no longer up here by your ears, but they are, relaxed down here. That's just a quick way to verify or to validate that this practice can help you influence a change over your body. And that includes your body and your mind. So, um, if you're not a member and you're seeing this on YouTube, I invite you to become one. I'll put a link in the description, and that link takes you to an About page. There's a 7-day free trial for the community. After that, it costs $47 a month. And if you want one-on-one a 3-week one-on-one coaching relationship with me, where in a very accelerated timeline, you can get a handle on your anxiety waves and start eliminating your panic attacks or your panic episodes. So that's also offered within the community. If you find that after or under 7 days that this community is not for you, simply cancel it. You won't get charged. And, you know, you can still find me on YouTube. All right. So that's going to conclude our time together today and why have this video come to a close. But I hope that you've learned that you do have control over your mind, your nervous system. You can influence your nervous system to relearn how to respond to minor threats and not let those minor threats result in catastrophic reactions. You certainly don't want to go into a panic mode. And there are many other unhealthy ways in which we respond to anxiety. I don't think anyone in the world is free of anxiety. No one. And so just the fact that you're here means that you recognize that anxiety plays a role in your life and that you're interested in leaving that behind and in taking up a practice that can help you in the moment when an anxiety wave washes over you, but also, and more importantly, over the long term to prevent those anxiety spirals from evolving into a panic episode. So I tell the story within the community that when I was a first year surgical resident, I kind of had a cold, I guess, or allergies, something. I have asthma, and I always have, so I wasn't breathing too well that day, and I started coughing. And at first, I was just turning my head over, away from the sterile field, and finally, I just said, I've got to break the field." And so one of my buddies took over. We all were always assisting an attending surgeon, and I had to leave the OR. And when I went outside the OR, it immediately subsided. But before I left the OR, the fact that the attending kept asking me if I was okay, "Can I continue?" Um, I had this anxiety wave because I didn't wanna feel like I was a failure, And, uh, it evolved into a full-blown panic episode with hyperventilation. By the time I got outside the OR, I was in full panic mode, sweating profusely, my heart was beating out of my chest, I felt weak, and I had to sit down and just kind of allow it to resolve. And as you know, if you've had a panic episode, it's kind of like being in a post-ictal state or a post seizure state. You're wiped out. You are completely, it's not as bad as having a seizure, obviously, but it leaves your body depleted. And that was horrifying. And it wasn't the only time that that happened. So, anyway, if you're prone to reactions like that, or you have had them in the past and you're just dreading the fact that you don't know when the next one's going to happen, please adopt this practice. It will save you if you're diligent about it, because your nervous system works just like mine. When you do this practice, your vagus nerve will be activated and you will send messages of safety back up to your brainstem and it will respond accordingly. So this is like a no-brainer to adopt into your lifestyle. And if I never see you again, do it every morning when you wake up. If you want to do it at lunchtime, great. Do it every evening before you go to bed. And here's something I'll throw in a kicker. Um, when you start influencing your nervous system to dissipate and slow down your sympathetic nervous system's accelerator mode and start applying the vagal brake, and you get skilled at this, you're going to see your sleep improve as well. Because behind most insomnia symptoms is an overactive nervous system. And we now have a shortcut to diffusing those anxiety spirals. And the result of that is a calmer mind, a calmer body, and easier sleep. Now, it's not going to be instantaneous, just like I said earlier, but with time, that's one of the great benefits of observing this practice. So, with that, I'm going to sign off and tell you that I'm grateful that you were here. And here's to your health. Here's to your continued success as you uh, exert more influence over your nervous system. All right.